The Magnus archives and its characters are property of Rusty Quill and Jonathan Sims. This video falls under YouTube's fair use policy and is not meant to replace nor replicate the experience of listening to this podcast. If you've clicked on this video and have not listened to the Magnus archives, go do that on Acast or wherever you get your podcasts, and support Rusty Quill on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Rusty Quill. This video contains spoilers for the entire series, not including the Magnus Protocol.
If I see a ghost, I'm gonna flip shit. That was my first proclamation as mayor.
He speaks! This is the first time we hear the voice of our beloved John, and the first mention of Elias. It's also technically the first mention of Gertrude, though she's only referred to here as the previous archivist. Fun little note. Throughout the release of Season 1, multiple people online apparently asked Johnny why he was doing a bad British accent. And he addressed this in the Season 1 Q&A, and that's just his voice, y'all. Granted, almost every character in this series enunciates their T's quite a lot, and we even hear Alex give Imogen Harris, Helen's voice actor, this note in one of the blooper episodes.
Careful of enunciation.
Okay.
You went a bit London on me. You dropped a few T's and so on.
It's never happened in the whole of my life. I'm quite excited.
Goodness.
You've been
Been here 15 years. This is great.
You've been consistently dropping a T.
Will she be coming back? Nah!
Leave that. You having a laugh, ain't you?
So,
Thought you might lark away out!
Go bleeding blimey, governor.
I love listening to British people make fun of other British people. It brings me joy. Another fun fact. This is also the only episode in which the theme song plays mid-episode, and not to mention while someone's talking. Anyway, this episode is addressed directly to Elias, John expressing that he hopes Elias can hear it this time. This implies that every other tape or digital recording was originally meant to be reviewed by Elias, but I think later in the series that's dropped as John records not only mild office gossip in Season 1, but also the supplementals in Season 2. Also, just in terms of his omniscience, I don't really see why Elias would even care about the tapes, especially since he doesn't know about the web's plan with them. John also mentions significant audio distortions when trying to record certain statements on his computer. We hear throughout the series of supernatural occurrences causing other sorts of computer issues, such as Not Sasha's computer continuously breaking and the footage from the day of Gertrude's murder being corrupted for quite some time. But as is touched on in Mag 65 Binary, the concept of analog versus digital is really not entirely accurate, as even tape recorders use magnetic tape and could therefore be considered digital. However, Not Sasha, Michael, and even John later in the series cause distortion and static on the tape recordings. So in my opinion, the recording problems are less to do with digital recordings and more to do with the web actively stopping John from recording on his computer so they can weave their web with the tapes. I don't know how they do this. Maybe there's just a little spider inside John's computer fucking with his files. And yes, I'm calling her Sasha. I know that I am pronouncing every single other character's name with an American accent, but Sasha just sounds straight up incorrect to me, so her name is Sasha. Fucking fight me, I'll die on this hill. Also, this line,
"So with that in mind, I thought I'd take it for a spin, as it were,"
is straight up a fucking pun. Basira is right, this man is hilarious, and I will be pointing out every time he makes a stupid joke like this. So, on to the actual statement. It was given on July 15th of 2015. However, Gertrude's death was officially documented as occurring on May 15th of the same year, which leads us to believe this statement is addressed directly to John. However, John shows no indication that he remembers taking this statement, nor that he knows who this Jacob is. If we take the first time we hear an official recording date, that being in Mag 11, which is recorded on January 13th, 2016, we can count backwards, using Elias's comment on John only getting through about one statement per week as a reference. Doing this, we can conclude that John became archivist around September to October of 2015. So what was happening between May and September? Who even took this statement? I honestly have no idea. I don't think it was Sasha, given that Elias likely thought she already knew too much with her time in artifact storage as well as her relationship with Gertrude. But other than that, I can't really think of anyone else. Let me know in the comments if you have a theory on who might have been overseeing the archives in this window, but honestly, I'm lost. And who was this statement addressed to? To me, it's pretty obviously meant to be directed to the audience, given the line,
"You'll wish you had stopped listening and run."
However, in universe, I think that this statement was addressed non-specifically, just to whoever took over from Gertrude, given the line,
"It'll get you too."
So, who is this Jacob? Knowing Johnny's avid reuse of names, see the 400 Michaels and the 500 Johns, you think it'd be hard to narrow down. But there's actually only 3 Jacobs mentioned in the series by name. In order of appearance, the first is the statement giver of this episode. The second is Jacob Feng, one of Leitner's assistants, who he talks about in Mag 80. And the third is a Jacob with no last name, who was apparently a baker and buried alive in the statement of Mag 152. To me, Jacob Feng seems the most likely culprit, but Leitner says he was assigned to research a very short book called A Disappearance, and after reading it cover to cover, he was never seen again. But honestly, I don't think it really matters who the Jacob from this statement is. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to theorize, but in terms of the grand scheme of the series, this episode really isn't that important. As ominous and cool and threatening as it is never mentioned again. Ever. By anyone. Not even in Mag 161, where John is thinking about old recordings and how maybe if he had listened to the warnings, he would have prevented the end of the world. He just straight up forgets about it, which sucks because it's a super interesting statement in universe and
But all you're beholding will come to nothing.
is a fucking cold line. But honestly, I don't think this episode was written with the intention of it fitting in like a puzzle piece to the rest of the series. It's a trailer, so who knows if it's even canon. We'll also need to talk about that in the next episode, as it also contradicts some later things. Overall, I put this episode in A tier. It's a really fun and ominous statement, even if it doesn't hold that much water overall. Also, thanks to pngtree.com for the wood texture. I did not want to draw it myself. If you have any thoughts about this episode that I didn't mention, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more of this series, be sure to subscribe, because I am actually going to try and finish this before I turn to dust. Thank you for watching, may all your beholding come to something, and have a great day. Bye-bye!